This is the science lecture, standard 10th, subject is science and topic is from chemistry. Lesson number 3rd. The topic name is chemical reactions and equations. In that lesson, we discussed about the chemical reaction. What is meant by chemical reactions and chemical equations? By chemical, when we write the chemical equations, some criteria or some conventions are used to write in chemical equations. So we can see in that lesson. Now, first of all, we can see the chemical reactions. Now, in previous standard, we learned that how to compound this form by the chemical combination of elements, and we also learned that the chemical bond is to attain the electronic configuration with complete octet, or the atoms attain to complete octet by giving, sharing or pairing of electrons with each other. This basic idea we studied in previous standard. Now, in that standard, we studied the chemical reactions. First of all, we see that chemical reaction, definition of chemical reactions. A chemical reaction is a process in which some substances undergo bond breaking and are transformed into new substances by the formation of new bond. This is the definition of chemical reactions. In that chemical reaction, when we take some substances or when we take some elements, that substances are taking part in that chemical reactions and which undergo the bond breaking, means that elements, the bond breaking process are done, and after that bond breaking of that substance are transformed into new substance, means we get a new element, a new substance by the formation of new bonds, means we get new substance, new element, but by the formation of new bond. This is the definition or meaning of that chemical reactions. For example, we get carbon dioxide. We get carbon dioxide by the combustion of carbon, coal with air, means C plus O2, we get carbon dioxide. While we writing that chemical reactions, two components are very important. That two components is the reactant and second is the product. These two components are very important in writing a chemical reactions. Now, we studied the conventions, some conventions to write a chemical equation. Let us see the first conventions. So, the reactants are always written in a left hand side and products are always written on right hand side. First convention, the reactant are always left hand side and the product are always right on a right hand side. Remember that, the first convention. Now, the second convention is whenever there are two or more reactant in that taking part in that chemical reaction, the plus sign should be right in that two element. When two or more elements are taking part in that chemical reactions, plus sign is compulsory. For example, copper sulfate plus zinc. or zinc sulfate plus copper. This is the reactant and this is the product. This is chemical reaction. In that chemical reaction, two or more elements are taking part in that reactant. So the plus sign is must. Also, product we write plus sign. This is the second convention. Now, third convention, when we write the chemical reaction, reactant side and the product side both are connected with arrow, and this arrow is always pointing towards the product. Third is arrow. When we write the chemical equations, this arrow is always pointing towards the product, and because of this arrow, the reactants and products are connected with each other. Means third convention is related to arrow. Now, fourth convention, the condition like temperature, pressure, heat, or we use some catalyst in that chemical reaction. So all these type of conditions, all these types of catalyst always write above the arrow. Catalyst or some conditions are always written above the arrows. If we give heat, then we can use that type of symbol. If we use some temperature to that chemical reaction, we use 100 degrees Celsius or whatever temperature we can use, we can write above the arrow. Remember that the catalyst always write, or some conditions which can use in that chemical reactions always write above the arrow. Now, fifth convention. In that chemical reactions, some physical state of the reactants and products are also mentioned in chemical equation. Physical state of that chemical reaction means if we use gaseous state, liquid state or solid state, we can write as a subscript to that element's symbol. If we use the gaseous substance, then we can write in brackets small letter g. We use liquid state, we can write in brackets small letter l. If we use the solid substance, we can write as a subscript to the solid substance. For example, CuSO4 plus Zn plus zinc sulfate plus copper. If we take as a solid substance, then write as a subscript small s. If we use this aqueous, then write Aq. So we can write in this way as a physical state to the chemical reaction. Our sixth convention is some special informations are involved in that chemical equations, like concentrated or dilute solutions are taking part in that chemical reactions. So we can write it as a concentrated or dilute. Remember that 6 conventions are very useful to write chemical equation.